Hello, this is Pamela Berthum coming to you from my lovely office. And today I wanted to talk about just starting my day correctly. Every morning I literally say out loud, "This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it." When I say that, it tends to help me focus from the beginning, focus my heart, focus my mind, and realize what is really important today. And it's not my will, it's God's will. That's always what's important. So I am copying books of the Bible because we so often read everything out of context. We memorize verses. Sometimes we memorize passages, but for the most part, we memorize verses. But you have to read the Bible in context to fully understand it. Who's talking? What are they talking about? What is the audience? Is he talking to believers? Is he talking to non-believers? And all of those things are incredibly important so that God can speak to you through the word in an accurate way. Too many people interpret the Bible and the words that they're reading based upon one verse. And that's like picking up a book and turning to the middle and reading one sentence and thinking that you know what's going on or that you know what that sentence means, and you have no context and therefore you have no clarity. So because of all of this, I decided to start copying books of the Bible. How I copy the scripture is on the left side. I use that entire page to copy. I'm going to put at the top of the page my date, and then I just put Matthew and chapter 1. And then I just copy. And then the next day I come in, Matthew chapter 1, I pick up right where I left off and I just copy. I stop at the end of the page. Next day, I just pick up right wherever I left off and I just copy. It works amazingly for me. I never have to wonder where to turn in the Bible, like what I'm going to do. And it is amazing how much God speaks to me through whatever. It's like I'm always seem to be right in a place that has something super applicable that He is trying to tell me. And then after I'm done with that, I go through Psalms and Proverbs back and forth. So right now I'm in Psalms. This morning was Psalm 70. I just read it. I don't copy it. I just read it. So every day I go through the Psalms. When I finish the Psalms, I pick up at Proverbs, do all the Proverbs. When I finish the last proverb, I pick back up at Psalms. So I'm always cycling through and reading a Psalm or a proverb every day. And then I literally journal whatever. My journaling is whatever I have at that moment that's either weighing me down or that's taking over my mind a little bit, because I have found journaling throughout my entire life, writing, to be very cathartic. If I write it, it's like I can process it and get it out. And I can't process it very well if I don't write it. Anyway, that is my morning devotional time. And then I spend time in prayer. I have in my notes my daily kind of ongoing prayer list. So I can just go through there every day and make sure that I don't forget anybody. Because you know what? If you say you're going to pray for somebody, do it. God has shown me so much. I mean, He healed me of stage 3B colon cancer. I know that He answers prayer. And I have prayers that I have been praying for years that He has not answered in the way that I'm praying. But I know He hears me. And I know He's answering in His own timing, in His own way, for His own will. And I trust in that. I totally trust in that. Prayer is so powerful. So I start my day off with prayer every day, or at least I try to. Honestly, I'm way better about the Bible reading and the journaling than I am spending that time in prayer. I am so ADD. And when I'm sitting in my little recliner, my home feels very cozy and comfy and relaxing. I have such memories of all the views out the windows, of all the many states and the campgrounds and the beauty that we have been surrounded by while in this exact same spot in my exact same living room. It's kind of bizarre. It's kind of hard to explain, but that spot means a lot to me. But for some reason, if I sit there for very long, I feel lazy, and I have an issue with that anyway. I'm very type A, and I always feel like I need to be doing something. I have to be doing something. Otherwise, I am useless. I'm pointless. That is just a real thing I deal with. It's not a good thing. I have a really hard time relaxing. There's like on a scale of 1 to 10, my ability to relax is like a 2. By the time I do my Bible and I've written in my journal, which I'm actively doing something, right? I'm writing. So I'm doing. To just breathe in, just look at my list and pray. I have the hardest time sitting still for very long. Sometimes I just go through that prayer list a little too quick. I'm just being perfectly honest with you. That is a harder thing for me to spend time doing than the Bible reading and the journaling. I don't know why, I'm just being honest, but it's so important. That is the most valuable thing I can do every day. Why I can't register that in my own little pea brain. I have no idea. But the reality is that is the most productive way I could possibly be spending any of my time is in prayer. So I'm preaching to my own self. The other thing I want to talk about is not only starting your day right, but to keep it right. I have back issues. I have hip issues with my multiple sclerosis. It doesn't matter. When I am in pain, which is not all the time, but it is a decent amount of the time, um, life feels harder. It's harder to be happy, to be content, to be smiling, to just be restful and peaceful in your spirit when you're in pain. That is just the reality. It's just the reality. So my other method, which I do a lot, almost every morning, I have praise and worship on. I have my Pandora Pamela's Praise Station, which I absolutely love. It's everything from DC Talk to hymns to newsboys and new ones like Lauren Daigle. Just all of the stuff that I love, all the music that I love, all the music that speaks me. Toby Mac. Toby Mac. I bet you every third song is Toby Mac. It just makes me to focus on what's important, and that is not me, it is him. So I will listen to that. As I go throughout my day, and like I said, I always have to be moving. I'm not a sit still person. When I start feeling angsty, I start feeling, I don't like to use the D word, but depressed. When I was going through the cancer, I did struggle a bit with depression. I have to be totally honest. I really did. I journaled a lot about it, and it was a humbling experience. And through it all, I realized that even though I often did not feel it, I knew that God was still there with me and that he would never leave me and that he would never forsake me. And I came to a better place. Since then, up to that point, I never really dealt much with sadness, depression. I have ADHD, very much with a capital H, and anxiety. I've always dealt with anxiety. Since then, I deal more with depression than anxiety, which is kind of weird. I don't like to use the word depression that much. I don't want to give that word that much power over my life. The only thing that has power over my life is Jesus, period. And that's the reason why I don't like to say it. I just say I'm angsty. So when I'm feeling a little angsty, I will turn on praise and worship. And I love music. So a lot of times I have a shuffle station because like my shuffle station is the most eclectic. I have everything from Disney tunes to 80s and oldies to Michael Jackson. I don't care all y'all judgmental people what you think about it. I love all the old stuff. But if my heart and mind is feeling the least bit angsty, I am full on Pamela's praise and worship the entire time on my speaker, loud. And I'm typically, especially if I'm by myself, I am singing at the top of my lungs, and sometimes I'm dancing. That keeps my mind and my heart focusing on God, which is where it needs to focus. This is the stuff that works for me. You may have a completely different set of parameters. Figure out what gets your mind and your heart, and your mind is incredibly important. Even when our heart is in the right place, our minds really try to screw us up, and Satan will use our thoughts against us. He knows us very well. Satan is not omnipresent. He is not omniscient. He is not omnipotent. None of those. He has got none of those omnidelios. Only God has all of those. Okay. Only God. God knows it all. God is present everywhere. Satan can only be in one place at a time. He uses his little demon menus to do his little, bidding for him, but he can only be present at one place at a time. He doesn't know everything. He doesn't know everything. He can't read our thoughts. God can. God knows our every thought. Satan doesn't. But he reads our faces. He reads our tone of voice. He knows us. He has known everything about us since we were little, and all his little minions know us too. Well, God is bigger than the boogeyman. God knows us from the inside and every thought. Keep that in mind. Keep Satan in his little place. He has no power. He has no power over me because he has no power over Jesus, and Jesus is in me, and therefore he has no power over me. But he really thinks he does, and he will try to mess me up. Don't let him have that privilege. Figure out what it is to keep your mind stayed on Christ. Just really wanted to share some of the methods that I use to fight the angst, because we are living in a very fallen world. I don't know anybody that really has an easy life. I don't know anybody that doesn't have something fairly large that they're going through on a daily basis. We are living in a very fallen world. We've got AI, we've got Big Brother looking over us. We've got we've got earthquakes and famines and all this stuff happening, and Jesus is going to be coming back soon. He's got to, with all this craziness. But I'm just saying, life is just hard. We need to keep our minds and our hearts focused and stayed on Him. Hopefully, you can take a little nugget of anything I said, improve your mindset on a daily basis. But like I said, start out in the morning, start your day right in the morning. And not only that, if you don't, the default is not good. You've got to decide today is going to be a good day. I remember being in high school or in middle school, and I would literally think to myself, I'm going to have a bad day today. I'm not going to be in a good mood. I'm not going to talk to anybody. Like, what is that? And I would literally think that to myself. I don't know why. I just did. And I would always, on those days, I always had a really bad day. And then I would go thinking, why did I have such a bad day? Because you called it, girl. Hello. Do just the opposite of my stupidity when I was younger. Wake up and say, today is going to be a great day. This is the day the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. There is something in those words. It's like, oh, that's so cliche. Oh, it's just a little Bible verse. No, there is power in the word of God. Today is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. You can't say that out loud and not feel it. You just can't. I can't. Say it and then live it. All right, y'all. See you on the flip side. This is Pamela Berthum, over and out. Still standing.